what y'all were talking about in 1969. One of the things I experienced, we had a somewhat of a migration in 68, where some of the black students that attended Pinedale High School, they went over to Valdosta High. One of the things we discovered were the English that we were taking in the 12th grade, they was using that was over Valdosta High School in the 10th grade. And so when I graduated from, and I was in top honors in Pinedale High School along with several other students, I had some difficulty because I went to Valdosta State. There was only about 300 African Americans at Valdosta State at the time. And even then, I thought that I was pretty sharp. But in some of the courses, I must admit that I was not prepared. I will agree with Brother Rose in terms of, yes, and I do believe in a homogeneous group, you just have better camaraderie, you have better fellowship. We see that in our churches. I think the 11 o'clock hour in our churches is probably one of the most segregated times it is. And I preach at Howard, and I preach to the white congregation, I preach to the black congregation, and we are going through some things even in our religious community. But I do think that it's time for change. And all our kids went through the public school system. All of them went to the public school system. And one reason that I'm interested in CUEE, and whatever happens, and hopefully with the CUEE board, and I've said this in our meetings, one of the things that I think it may be a key factor, an indicator, we need to come up with some strategy interventions whereby we're going to get more parental involvement from people of low socioeconomic status as well as from minorities, where you can become involved in the education of your children. And the other thing that I've seen, whereas we talk about socioeconomic status, if an African American kid or one of those socioeconomic status is in trouble, how are you going to hire a tutor? Things that we did to try to bridge that gap was, my sister is educated, it's all in the Lowndes system, she's 30 years. We have a comprehensive education program. We used to run that until we run out of funding. We do it as a church-based program. Several of our kids that was whatever that AYP thing is, I'm not educated, so I don't know, but some kids that was in trouble, she ran a program during the summer in order to help those kids catch up. I'm thinking that what I'm on CUEE for is so we can look at other funding sources. For those kids who are falling behind in our communities, we can do some things that are not currently being done. They have to have tutorial programs at the school, but that's not enough. And our churches use only, basically most churches in Valdosta use Sunday morning and Wednesday, or whatever you like, because we can have tutorial programs within our churches. We can even have children in granny houses under supervision where they can get their lesson and where we can have someone to help them. It's going to take money to do that. So that's one of the reasons I'm looking at CUEE. And on the board of CUEE, where we can address some of the problems that the children are having. And even when I look at the rest, and I haven't graduated from GSU and haven't gone to Georgia Southern, I would probably have some difficulty. And what I did when my kids needed help, I just hired somebody to come over and help them with the homework because I didn't understand it. And so I think these are some of the kinds of things that I